everybody, and welcome to today's video. This is a day that's long been waited for. Do you remember back in March, around March 20th, I planted some tomato seeds? Remember that? Well, tomatoes are ready to transplant today in the garden. It's a beautiful day, and let me show you. Greenhouse and a lot of the things are ready to plant. We got to get started on this because it's supposed to be 80 to 90 degrees come next week. So here's the tomato plants. And this is what they look like. Oh, so excited. Tomatoes smell amazing. So let's get started. I have over 70 tomato plants, and so this is going to take a long time. I'm not sure where I'm putting them all, to be honest with you. That over there is the rocket tomatoes. They came from the Dollar Tree. And these are my Roma tomatoes for canning. So the first thing that I have to do is I have to fill holes. So I'm going to go ahead and fill holes at all of these stakes. And then I will plant the tomatoes. I used to do it with a trowel, but now I realize a shovel works so much faster. I'm going to go ahead and dig these holes. This will take me about 30 minutes, so I'll get back to you when I'm finished. All right, we got the holes made. Now we got to plant. So I'm gonna change into a t-shirt because it's a lot of work. All right, now it's time to finish planting. Basically what I'm doing is I'm planting food for insecurity. With the rise of inflation, with the rise of food costs, you don't know what's going to happen over the summer, and you don't know what's going to happen in the fall. So in the spring, I planted my seeds thinking ahead of time. Hindsight is always 20/20. So if you think of it when you need it, it's too late. And so you have to think of things ahead of time. And with the rise in prices of gasoline and all kinds of things in the food, insecurities that could develop, it's really important, if you can, to plant your own. And if you plant your own food, you know what's in it, and you know what it took to grow it. A tiny seed is all it took to make this tomato plant, which will probably give me about a gallon of tomatoes. Think about it. Well, sure, there's food at the grocery store. Oh, it just miraculously happens to be there. But what happens if food would be insecure, like Venezuela and places like that? Well, you think it won't happen here in the United States? Think again. We're not immune to anything. What would it cost you to plant your tomatoes? Well, it took one seed for one plant, which would give me a gallon of tomatoes. What would those tomatoes be worth, let's say, if nobody in your neighborhood could eat tomatoes and they were hungry for them? Could you barter for them? I'm planting gold. It could be gold. Food could be scarce. People say it could never happen. Well, it could. And just have a little foresight in what could happen can make a tremendous difference in your life. Through my videos, I've proven the fact that you don't have to have a large garden to plant things to be able to be a little more self-sufficient. Tomatoes is one thing. It doesn't take a lot of room. You could have more than what you could eat. You can can it, give it away, preserve it for the all winter long. Some things you need a lot of to preserve it, but tomatoes is easy. And it's so super duper expensive in the grocery store. Peppers and tomatoes are easy to grow, don't take much, and you have a lot of return. You know, putting a couple cents and earning $20, $30, or $40, I think that's a good return on my money. What do you think? As you can see, we have a lot of leaves. I did not rototill my leaves in this year. This is going to be very good. It will break down. It will keep my plant nice and cool. It will also help retain water when it rains. Also keep in mind, I'm not planting just for 2 people. I'm planting for my whole family in case they would need it. I don't want anyone in my family to go hungry. Here's the tomato rocket, $1 from the Dollar Tree. Since the tomatoes are planted, now we're going to go ahead, take some of the shavings and the manure and all the compost here in the chicken house. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put that in the wheelbarrow and we're going to spread that all along our tomato plants. It is 100% free compost, which will help things grow, also help retain water. So when we have a drought, if we have this around our tomatoes, it will actually help retain the water and our plants won't suffer the drought. Yes, it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun as well because everything is the cycle of life. It just goes around and around and around. Alright, so now it's time to put all of the manure, 1 scoop per tomato plant. This will do 2 things. It will feed the tomatoes all summer long. Also, will keep them more drought resistant because it has a lot of shavings in it. And you'll get a bumper crop of tomatoes. All for free, just having some chickens. I'm gonna go water my tomatoes, and we're gonna plant some sunflowers. I love sunflowers on the border of our property. I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll show you the garden when I'm finished. The sunflowers I grew by seed, and they're all different kinds.